Okay, hello, welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the latest thing that happened in the environment here in the, when something happens in the woods, whether it's the South Shore or, the middle of the island, it's important. But unfortunately, we all know that, this is making a lot of media because it happened in Babylon, and we all know that if it didn't happen in Babylon, it wouldn't be talked about in the same way. We know that already, we've had issues where bodies and body parts have been found in other parts, and it never got the same kind of coverage like this instance here. The victims, they found remains in Sunken Meadow. This was actually back in November, and it only got 26 seconds.
Name of the man found dead at Sunken Meadow State Park. His name is Yoneli Avimael.
Yeah, they barely covered
Ramos
this.
Moreno. He's 20 years old and was last seen in Brentwood. According to the medical examiner, he died recently. State police think he may have been killed.
So we never even heard back on this. We never even heard back because it happened in the middle. It happened on the North Shore, not an important area, right? The same thing here, where there wasn't even a video on this one, where there was a missing Brentwood teen found near the Pilgrim Psychiatric Center. But no, that didn't get the same kind of attention that this is getting because it happened in Babylon. And it's not just News 12. All the media is all over it. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's all about these people. I mean, it really is. While the rest of us are just forgotten. Crime in the middle of the island is out of control. And, just like anything, like you taking a cup or a glass and you're filling it, and it can only hold so much, and then it starts spilling over. Well, that's what's going on Long Island. Some of the crime is spilling over to the South Shore, and when it does, oh boy, you're going to hear about it, but not for, us poor folks in the middle of the island who have to deal with it. So let's talk about where this happened. So this happened at Southards Pond Park in Babylon. Now, it's disturbing to me because, yes, it is a place that I go relatively frequently. I go to Southards Pond relatively frequently, like on a weekly basis. I walk by there. This is Southards Pond right here. It's a beautiful, nice little lake. And see pictures of it there that I've taken. Very nice lake there. And there are some paths that go by there, like creeks along the paths. There's a few pines here and there. And the trails are well taken care of. And relatively busy. This is, you're going to encounter people on these paths. So it doesn't really particularly feel unsafe, whenever I'm there anyway. But of course, because it's these people that are affected, well, you're going to hear about it on the media. So looking at the maps here, and we'll show you where this is on maps before we continue here. Southards Pond Park is over here in this area right here. So it's pretty much over here. This is the park right here. So Southards Pond, and the police have been searching this area because a student walking to school found a body part along the woods here. I think it's Seagull Boulevard, and then they found an additional body part over here by Babylon Elementary School over here in this spot. It's unbelievable that this has happened, but it's not really a surprise considering how out of control the crime is in the middle of the island that it's going to spill over. And that's exactly what's going on. So let's play the story that News 12 actually, obviously, these two, I'm sorry, you don't count, but it happens in Babylon. We're going to be all over it. So this is what happened. 2 human arms and a leg found at Southards Pond Park in Babylon. So we're going to play the story now for you from News 12.
I have new information for you right now.
We have spent nearly 3 minutes on this. 3 minutes. We all know if it happened in the middle of the island, they wouldn't, what more proof do you need of the double standard? This gets 25 seconds because this happened in Sunken Meadow Park, and this gets 3 minutes because it happened in Babylon. It's unbelievable.
Just learned from police that the victim appears to be a man.
Yeah, the severed arms and leg were discovered in Southards Pond Park today.
I have a feeling it may be gang-related.
The first body part found by a student.
Yeah, police then flooded the area. Canines were brought in and teams worked into the night. That search has now been suspended.
But of course, we are still on the scene for you tonight. Let's go straight to News 12.
And the paths are all closed off, as you saw the picture I showed you. They're all closed. You cannot walk there.
Date now, John.
Hey, good evening to you, Joe and Antoinette, and definitely a lot of activity for this normally quiet neighborhood here.
Yeah, it's a little enclave, and they're not used to, they were, it's funny, the irony is they were complaining about cats just like yesterday, and now they got a much more serious problem to deal with. But this is the way it is. This is the way it is, and it's everything's got to, if things go wrong in that area, you're going to hear about it. These people are going to speak up, and they're going to get heard while we continue to get the shaft here in the middle of the island.
In the village of Babylon. As you just said, we're just learning the severed arms. Suffolk County Police is telling us those arms belonged to a male victim. Again, we've seen so much activity out here earlier today, and as it even went into the night, just behind me over my shoulder in the back dark corner here near the woods, we saw lights from Suffolk Police as they were searching in the area. They told us where they found a leg in a mound. Again, that search did end tonight, but it will pick up tomorrow morning, and police tell us that search is still underway, and there's still more to be found.
I can't even imagine. It's stuff you see in movies, I can't imagine that.
The shocking discovery.
That's the comment there. Yeah, well, this is the reality. Go ask what people who have to live in Brentwood have to deal with on a daily basis. All right, and that's their life. That's what they deal with all the time. All right.
Discovery of at least 3 body parts in a popular Babylon park has rocked the village.
This is a beautiful walkway, and a lot of people walk down there. My friend actually jogs there, and I know a lot of people that do.
A high school student on her way to school made the first discovery, an arm in the woods along Siegel Boulevard. She called her dad, who called police.
And I know that spot. I've walked past there like on a frequent basis.
Police later brought a canine, which made another shocking discovery in Southards Pond Park.
So we have the right arm and the left arm. The right arm was found about 20 feet further into the woods from where the left arm.
Police searched the park all the way up to Sunrise Highway. It was on the west side of the park, near Babylon Elementary School, where a canine found another body part covered by heavy limbs and leaves.
The dog found the leg. And once he did, he stopped. So there's a mound of leaves. We don't know what's going to be under the mound.
Police searched into the night near the elementary school, specifically focusing on the mound where the leg was found. As police continue investigating, residents still can't believe what was found.
My kids walk around here, and, we've already told them to not walk home today.
You just have...
Now think about what kids in Brentwood have to deal with. But I know those are people of color, right? So they don't deserve to have the same safety standards that you do, right? That's, the dichotomy. So if something happens in the world of the lily white people, stop the presses. But this is the reality of life for people who live in places like Brentwood. They've got to fear gangs all the time. All right.
You have to be very, very careful and try not to ever walk alone. Always with a partner.
Yeah, always with the partner. Well, those of us who can't, and again, you think it's bad there? Mineola is a scary place. Speaking of walking alone, would you like to walk alone on this street at night like I have to do? Mineola Boulevard, where there aren't even cars driving by and no people except for vagrants hanging around. These people, they're so spoiled.
And again, police do tell us the remains appear to be recent. Still no idea about who the victim could be. But one thing is apparent. Police will be back out here tomorrow morning, the second the sun comes up. That's the latest here in Babylon Tonight. I'm John Dowding, News 12.
So, and again, all the media is all over it. You could see ABC 7, Newsday. We've got numerous city stations covering this. And this is the funny thing, because this is the day before. Obviously, this was just this was yesterday. And they're complaining about the cats. Literally a day later, and she was standing by Southards Pond. That's just too ironic.
Officials call it a public
right there.
safety issue, but advocates say a ban is insensitive.
Feeders are coming to this park
See,
here.
where she's standing, right there. That's where they have it all closed off, right there. I mean, literally a day later. That's just unbelievable. It almost seems like it's too much of a coincidence.
And they're leaving food like this out. Unfortunately, it's attracting more than just cats. Being left out like this, according to the mayor, is unfortunately also attracting raccoons, and they are coming during...
Oh, raccoons. Oh, my God, raccoons. Raccoons live in the woods. So do squirrels and bunnies.
During the day, and this is a place you can see behind me where there is a playground.
So these people are just privileged and spoiled.
Mayor Mary Adams
and
told
just
a packed meeting last night.
Look at them. I mean, they're
the
just...
concerns don't stop there. She said one cat feeder got aggressive towards code enforcement.
The code enforcement officer's foot was run over because they had told her,
Well, now we have severed body parts in the woods.
please leave, you can't keep doing this.
A possible solution by the village is to ban feeding feral cats.
Can't just stop feeding these cats because they're not going to go anywhere.
That option is not sitting well with animal activists who say
So you
they
see
have
how much
quick
time
and
they
humane
spent on
solutions
this issue.
that will solve resident complaints.
There needs to be a set feeding program where somebody comes here, other wildlife doesn't.
Long-term solution also
little
needs to be
privileged little
addressed,
world down
and
there.
they
It's
believe that's
unbelievable.
trapping the cats.
Towns need to work with us, not against us.
John DeBacker has been a part of the process at
Feral population will die.
So it's quite irony
Now, the mayor
that this happened literally the next day. I mean, it really is. It really is. But this is what you get when you're complaining about something small like that. Now you've got violent people that have used that park as a way to dispose of remains of probably somebody they murdered. And it could be gang-related. It could be. I'm not saying it is, but it just has the hallmarks of MS-13. This is the kind of stuff that they do. They usually cut up their victims and... when MS-13 dumps bodies in the North Shore and the middle of the island, I guess people don't care. But when it happens on the South Shore, all of a sudden it's important, right? Because it's affecting all the privileged white people in their little enclave, right? This is what, and this area here by Pilgrim here is, an area that's is another place I frequent is Edgewood Preserve, and Edgewood Preserve is. A place that's near Brentwood, and and this is the area where they've dumped bodies in this area over here. This right here is where they're standing right here. So if we go over here, right here, this is where they're standing right here, where those buildings are. That's it. This is the spot right here that they found people. And this is where that huge garbage dump is, which you can see from the satellite that nobody seems to care about either. And they don't even have a video for this. This is what happened. And this was from a number of years ago, obviously. But it says, this is the third set of skeletal remains found at Pilgrim Psychiatric Center. But the police have no plans to search that area. So it's interesting, they never really did a big search there like they're doing in Babylon, just because, right? Because who knows what awaits people in that area. I'm really scared to walk there a lot of the times. It pisses me off. Yeah, because there's pine barrens there. Obviously, it's a beautiful spot. But this could be where MS-13 goes and disposes of their victims. It's very scary. And this could be gang related. What happened in Babylon. But of course, people, we've been dealing with this in the middle of the island for a long time, but nobody ever talks about it until it spreads to the South Shore. Now all of a sudden it's important, right? That's what pisses me off. Just because, right? So, because again, the people walking on this trail are certainly more important, I guess, or at least they think they're more important than the people who walk on the trails at Edgewood Preserve, right? Or the kids who have to go to school in Brentwood and have to walk to school, right? Because they're not lily white with blonde hair, right? Is that the deal? I mean, it's ridiculous, But Babylon's a very privileged area. I mean, their downtown is great. This is typical, weekend night, busy. It's hopping. It's bustling. The businesses are doing great. They're living the privileged life. While again, those of us in the middle of the island get to deal with stuff like this here in Mineola, where there's no one on the streets. It's dark. It's scary, They think it's scary walking around Babylon now. Well, try living in Mineola and walking around after dark, and you'll understand what scary really is. And I did it again tonight, and coming back from the bus, and it was scary as well. I didn't see any regular people, barely any cars, and just the kind of people I see walking around as swagger walking with hoodies. You aren't the kind of people that they're up to no good. But again, a certain group of people think that they're the only ones that get to be safe, and the rest of us have to deal with all these problems, and I'm supposed to just be quiet about it. Well, I'm not going to be quiet about it. It's wrong. Everybody matters. We got to cut this kind of stuff out. I keep talking about it, because, it's all about the South Shore. And, if it happens on the South Shore, we stop the presses. But if it happens in the middle of the island, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. And that's why I'm upset right now, all right? I'm not saying the media shouldn't be covering this. Yes, the media should be covering this thing that happened. Obviously, the human remains found in Babylon are a big deal. But when they find human remains in these woods here in Brentwood, maybe you should also be covering it to the same extent that you do when it happens in Babylon. Why are the people in Babylon any more important than the people in Brentwood? It doesn't make any sense. We're all human beings. We need to be treated equally. That's what I'm talking about. Equality. We've got to cut it out. We're all humans. Let's stop looking at how we dress and the color of our skin. Let's look at the content of our character instead. And the fact is there are a lot of good people that are stuck living in the middle of the island that have to deal with these problems, and they're tired of being forgotten. Thank you for watching.